As the 2024 AFLW season is about to begin, it's time to celebrate what's going to be the best season to date. Last year, Brisbane won the big one against North Melbourne in a thrilling contest. But this year, the race is wide open. Will we see the Brisbane Lions go back-to-back? Or will we see a new team race a cup at the end of the season? Will we see a side like the Saints go from out of the 8 to winning the big one? Patrikios, Watson, Xenos, Wardlaw, Vesely and Smith will have something to say. Or will it be North Melbourne, a side filled with stars from experience? Two young guns, Garner, Birch, Ferguson, Gatt, Tripodi, Eddie, Martin and O'Shea. Or is it the Demons? 5 experienced players go out, but young stars like Bassano, Witherspoon and co will have an impact. And of course, star trio Horse, Zanker and Mithun have something to say about this year's flag race after last year's disappointment. Can the young dogs rise up to the occasion? New coach, new players, new leaders. Sometimes change comes in a good way. Blackburn gets some support in the team via young stars Greg Butterfint and Chrissy Lee Turner. And new recruits ready to prove a point in Smith, Arends and McKee. Or can a team filled with young stars at Port Adelaide who dominated this year's draft, bringing in Young, Goody, Window, Brook and Brooksby, surprise us all? Stars in this competition galore, headlined, just to name a few, Conti, Garner, Marinoff, Gardner, Toogood, the Prosparka sisters, Malloy, O'Driscoll, Patrikios and Dawes. We can't also forget the future of this competition. Loz Young, Charlie Rowbottom, Sinead Goody, Ella Roberts, Charlie Thomas, Brenna Tarrant, Sophia Hurley, Alicia Pisano, Elaine Grigg, Ali Morfitt, Holly Cooper, Ali Dalloway, Ella Heads, Matilda Schultz, and of course last year's Rising Star winner, Zali Goldsworthy. So many talented players ready to have insane seasons. I know I'm excited. Are you? Welcome to season 2024 of the AFLW. Let's go!
Let's go! We always stand for victory. Every joy and bear the whole. All the world of the world. We'll have to turn gold. Go Lions, here's the Lions. We'll kick the winning score. We'll hear the mighty roll.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Scoops AFLW show. I'm your host Cooper, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumors and results. And wow. Week 7/round 7 put up so many surprises. The Crows lost to the Demons. The Demons beat the Saints. The Demons now back in the finals contention out of nowhere. Just like the Randy Orton when he does an RKO out of nowhere. What we couldn't see in Frankston was John Cena's WWE theme song played after one of the goals from one of the Hawks players. Like, unbelievable. The Eagles got smashed by the Hawks. I did say they'd either smash the Hawks or get smashed. And unfortunately for them, they got smashed. But with the Saints losing to Melbourne on yesterday, that has kept the top 8 spot wide open. The Saints are still in 16 points on percentage. But you have Port Adelaide, West Coast, Melbourne, all in genuine contention. You also see the elimination of the Swans and Bulldogs. Their mathematical chances are basically over. Geelong's, losing in a close game to Richmond, they now have an almost impossible task to make the A. They would have to win all 3 games. Port Adelaide and St Kilda play each other. So they wouldn't want whoever wins that game to win another games, and they mathematically can't make it. Or they would need Essendon or Freo to lose all 3 games. So it's realistically down to 11. Carlton had a great upset win over the Dockers, but they're realistically not making it with their awful percentage, with the second lowest percentage in the competition at 47.5%. Richmond, they had a nice win over Geelong, but Adelaide's thumping win over the Giants has got them in the top 4 despite them losing to Melbourne. Hawthorn jumped into second place. North Melbourne, people say remain undefeated, but they've had a draw, so they haven't won every game, but they haven't lost either, if that makes sense. They had a thumping win over the Swans yesterday in Tassie after only leading, I say only, but leading by about 14 points at halftime to end up winning by 60, 70 points is absolutely amazing. This race is wide open, as it says in my intro. There is no clear, definitive winner. Sure, North Melbourne will be the favourites heading into this year's final series, but I tell you right now, any of Hawthorn, Brisbane, Adelaide, and Richmond to a degree can easily win the big one. And really, there's only about 5 teams that are officially out of finals contention. That is Gold Coast Suns, Collingwood, GWS, and co. It is what it is. Bulldogs, Giants, Collingwood, Suns, Swans are officially eliminated mathematically, and then realistically, Geelong and Carlton won't make it as well. Melbourne, they would have to win all 3 games due to their awful percentage. But in saying that, the Eagles' percentage did cop a hiding as well. They won't have to win all 3, as they're in a better position, I feel. And they've got Fremantle coming up. The Eagles do have. But that's the ladder. Let me put the banner of the ladder right on the screen for you all to see what I'm talking about. So as you can see there, as I said, Gold Coast, Collingwood, battling for the wooden spoon, I feel. With Carlton winning, they won't finish on the bottom now. They did have an awful percentage, so they could have if they didn't win that game, but they did. And in saying that, Gold Coast still would have had to win 2 games, which may not happen, unfortunately, for them. The Pies, well, they put up a good effort against the Power, but it wasn't to be. The Giants, well, against the Saints, it was a poor half. That cost them the game there. And then against the Crows, after quarter time, they were really bad. Now, I'm recording this early in the day, so I don't know who the Rising Star nominee for the round is. So we'll have to wait and see. 2 names that come off the top of my head is Meg Robertson from Carlton, who was very, very unlucky not to get it last round, may get it for this round. And Piper Window from Port Adelaide may also get a shout for the Rising Star nominee for the round. We'll have to wait and see. Alrighty, so now we're going to go through my script series, bang my team in the week, my AFLW fantasy score, my review and preview the rounds that's gone and upcoming. Because I'm going to mention this off the top right now before I even do any other stuff that I normally say first. I want to go through my AFLW fantasy score. I scored 1,932. I did score a very similar score a round or 2 ago, but I forgot to mention it. My ranking is 2,876. We've got 3 rounds of that to go. Who will win my overall ranking in my Scoops fan group league? We'll have to wait and find out. But I'm pretty happy with this score. 3 trades, no more double up games for any team, so everyone's got 1 game each. I'm happy with my ranking so far, but some players that probably should have got 100s were getting 70s this week. So I should have easily got over 2,000 with Marinoff scoring over 600 as captain in her double game. So it's a little bit disappointing, but, here it is. All right, so I've got 3 trades in the back of my mind for my FLW fantasy team. I'm not going to be revealing them because I don't want anyone copying me and stealing my tactics. So that's not an insult. That's just a fact of life. Yeah. I'll say that again. That's not an insult. That's just a fact of life. Yeah. So that's my FLW fantasy score. What's your score? Please let me know down below. I'll now continue with this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/CooperG. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone a birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/CooperG. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players, and you'd like to see them on my podcast in a goal kicking challenge and or interview, please do send me a message or try and get something sorted. If you'd like to be a co-host to some degree on this podcast, please also send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live, and we'll try and work something out. Or on Facebook, but preferably on Instagram. Alrighty. Let's now please welcome the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Now, it's something I've banged on about in the past. Fan engagement area. That is for the fans. Okay? Now, not only is it for the fans, the players, so the clubs more so, have a duty to follow through. The AFL website, the AFLW website, when they post what's going on in each game and each round, in the article, it always says, fan engagement, and kick on the oval after the game. Sometimes that doesn't happen, and that's on the clubs. Now, I don't know the name of this person. I don't know anything about this person. There was a Carlton worker, a few weeks back. Carlton had lost, doesn't matter because that's your job. You're getting paid to play the game and also do a fan engagement. And really, it's not that hard. It's 10, 15 minutes max. Like, you win or you lose, your fans are there through thick and thin, and you have to show your support back. I mean, for anyone, whether they're a Carlton fan in this case, or whether they're another team fan, or they're just a fan of AFLW in general like myself, you got to do that. And there was a moment where there was about 6 to 10 Carlton players a few weeks back just waltzing away, not giving a care at all what they were there and meant to do. And this Carlton worker said to them, I don't know his role, don't know his name, all I know was a bloke. And he said, oi, come back out here, come in this area, engage with your fans. They come here no matter what. And Carlton, their attendance, struggled a lot this year. And that guy couldn't be more correct. You know, your fans are there through thick and thin. How about you actually show some respect? And that's basically what he said. And then, of course, they went out. You shouldn't have to be told to go out there. You walk past the area where the fans are. There's no excuses to not stop. Unless you've just done your ACL or something like that, that's a bit more understandable. If you're just walking there because you don't want to stop just because you don't want to, that's poor. That's poor. To the Carlton worker and staff member that did that and told them, no, go back into the area where your fans are meant to be, that was really good from that Carlton worker to tell them, your fans come here no matter what. How about you say thank you to them? And that's what he said, essentially. So kudos to that Carlton worker. But as a whole, this is now on the clubs, okay? There was many instances where there's a few clubs, okay? Not individual players, but clubs. You advertise fan engagement. The competition mentions it. That means you stop. Now, there is some players at some clubs that are fantastic and will be there no matter what. But I've now seen this a few times, so I am going to mention this. St Kilda. Now, no matter where you win or you lose, you thank your fans. Okay? This is the club here. Now, again, you advertise fan engagement. That means fan engagement. So players with fans, etc. So that means you got to do it, right? And they just waltz in after a game. They might do a little few high fives, but that's not what fan engagement is. It's where you have that rope out and you mingle with the fans. They just waltz in. They've done this about 3 times this year, and maybe 3 to 5 max come back out. The rest stay away. That is not appreciating your fans. Now, for a long time, I don't want to say that, but I've seen this too many times now. And hopefully by me saying this, the clubs see this and they go, okay, we need to do better with engaging with fans. That's what's said will happen. Okay. You know, and that's what it should be. You know, people come to see you. They're here to support you, no matter whether you win, whether you lose, whether you draw, no matter what. So give back. Well, for starters, you're meant to do it. So it's not an opinion piece I'm making here. It's a fact. That's what they're meant to do. Hence called the fan engagement area. And I think you can start connecting the dots as to the same players that always come out. Because you'll see the St Kilda photos that I put up with players. It's always the same ones because those people individually are fantastic people. But overall, the others that haven't need to start thanking their fans a little bit more. St Kilda is not the only club that do this. But they're the ones I see do it frequently. Now, there's so many players that do it St Kilda. So, like I said, there's about at least 5 or so that are there generally every week, if they're playing, of course, that always come back out. And they're the ones that get my respect and appreciation. And they all know that, those individuals. They all know that. They are great people. But whether they're instructed not to come out, whether the players choose not to come out, the club have a tendency to do that. So the AFL competition, the AFLW competition in this instance, need to get onto St Kilda and these other clubs that are doing it and say, no, this is what we've advertised. You deliver on it. Like, it's 10, 15 minutes. Like, seriously. Walking past someone and high-fiving them, and only do that to some people, by the way, is not fan engagement. That's you just doing that. Okay? Now, hopefully they can rectify this, and the other clubs that do this, and go, you know what? No, we've got to do better with that. Like, I can give so much praise to Brisbane and West Coast in particular. I've been to some of their games where they've been interstate, obviously with Brisbane. When I went to Perth, it was West Coast and Brisbane. They had so many people, and I mean every player from West Coast and Brisbane stayed out there. Every player. When I went to the Eagles game again in Frankston, an away game, they were all there. The games in Melbourne, like at Icon Park and Winton Oval, they were there, and there for a decent amount of time. The Bulldogs, they always stay out there. Melbourne, they stay out there. The only one I can't comment on so far is Adelaide, because Adelaide haven't had a Melbourne game yet. But seeing some footage from Adelaide, they stay out there. Definitely some of them do, if not all. But every other club I've seen this year, so I can comment on every club essentially, bar the Crows, in terms of in-person vision and seeing it. A lot of clubs do it well. For the most part, a lot of the clubs do it well. The Bulldogs, Melbourne, St Kilda don't. So Bulldogs, Melbourne, West Coast and Brisbane. Of my experiences, West Coast and Brisbane, and Freo to a degree, they appreciate their fans the most, and that's great to see it. Collingwood and Richmond do the same. Yeah, Richmond, that's another one. They do it fantastic. You know, I've been to probably 3 games of theirs this year, including one on the weekend. All out there. I mean, Geelong, you know, some do really well. Some don't. But yeah, in particular, the Eagles and Brisbane, they are doing it fantastic, and everyone should follow their lead. The Giants as well, I must mention, when I've been to the Giants games, they always stop. So, you know, it's the interstate teams in particular is what I'm getting at. They do it very well, and so do Richmond and Collingwood. And I think the other Melbourne-based clubs should follow suit and do a bit better. In particular, my own team, St Kilda. But yeah, it'd be very much appreciated if they would do better in terms of fan engagement. Now, also on Scoops Bang is the umpiring. The umpiring has gotten bad lately. It's costing team games. It cost the Saints for Jamie Lambert against the Crows in Adelaide. The umpiring in the Bulldogs game on Friday night was absolutely pathetic. There were so many decisions not paid, basic umpiring decisions. And I just wish they would do better with the umpiring. It's dropping off the umpiring standard. Another game, the Hawthorn West Coast game, there was some interesting calls, to say the least, in that game. There's some interesting calls in the Saints Melbourne game yesterday. There was a few goals in Melbourne. I'm thinking, what for? Like, unbelievable. And there's some other games throughout the round. I was just like, what? How is that not holding the ball? Why is that holding the ball? Like, the umpiring in this round was pretty bad. The games were good, but the umpiring was bad. Like, unbelievable. To the umpiring, lift your game. Come on, do better, for God's sakes. All right. So, hope you guys and girls enjoy that edition of the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. So, yeah. All right. So I did the ladder. We did that. Now, let's go through my team of the week. So, here we go. Let's go with my Scoops round 7 AFLW Team of the week. From the back line, Charlie Thomas and Lucy Cronin. Half back line, the flankers, Georgia Clark and Elizabeth Georgia Stathis. Centre half back, that 50 gamer, Serene Watto Watson. Wingers, Eliza McNamara and Baldors. Centre woman, Elise Parker. Half forward line, the flankers, Emily Bates and Aisling Maloney. Centre half forward, Anya Madonna. Forward line, Aileen Gilroy and Jessie Wardlaw. Ruck, Poppy Kelly. Rovers, Ebony Marinoff and Georgia Nansquan. Interchange, Tyler Hanks, Alice O'Loughlin, Jazz Garner, Jenna Richardson and Ali Anderson. Emergencies, Matilda Schultz, Mon Conti, Caitlin Gould, Danielle Ponta, Brenna Tarrant, Amelia Radford, Maddie Gurin, Sophia Hurley, Ash Riddell, and Anne Hatchard. Now, reasons for these selections, let's get them on the screen, shall we? It was really hard to pick this team this week, to be honest, because you could argue there was a lot of players here that deserved it. Now, you can see my team there. Yes, another long list of emergencies. I mean, Matilda Schultz had a good game against Collingwood, don't get me wrong, but her opponent in the ruck had even stats. So it's like, yeah, Schultz may have had a better influence on the game, but Poppy Kelly over Kate Darby was a big gap. 40-something plus CDS for Poppy Kelly. About 15 disposals. She deserved the team of the week. Ruck, spot. Ebony Marinoff had like 41 disposals, like 17 tackles, like 11 tackles the game prior in the double game for her. I don't even need to explain why. Georgia Nansquan, people might go, she was bloody awesome for the Bombers, but really over Ali Anderson and Ash Riddell on the field and Monconti and everyone like that in those positions, Maddie Gurin even. I thought Georgia Nansquan was very, very influential in a game that it was a low-scoring game. And in the last quarter, when the Bombers got it going, Jordan Nansquan was in and under. I was at the game, so I could see everything. She was just very influential. Had a lot of contested possessions, high efficiency. And she was a big reason why the Bombers got the win over the Bulldogs. Charlie Thomas down in the back line. I mean, the back line was one of the hardest spots to select, purely for the fact of there's players that aren't named on my field in my back line that I wanted to put in, like Jenna Richardson, Brenna Tarrant, Amelia Radford, all deserved to be in there, but I can't fit about 10 defenders in the 5 spots, potentially 6 if you include a bench spot. So, you know, it's very hard to pick it. But Lucy Cronin was on Gemma Houghton, who's a good forward in her own right from the Power. Lucy for the Pies. In her first year, she's a genuine contender for the Rising Star. Winner this year is Lucy Cronin with Caitlin Surhoy and Shanae Goody. Georgia Clark, big reason why the Bombers were very good in defence with Radford. But Georgia Clark, with 25 disposals, like 12 marks, was a lock to get in and intercept possessions. Now, Watto in game 50 for the Saints. The team wasn't great, but Watto was fantastic as always. It's a lock for the All-Australian centre-half back spot or full-back spot this year. Watto, again, 17 odd disposals, like 13 intercept possessions. Absolute lock, absolute machine, absolute ripper person, absolutely deserved in game 50. Elizabeth Georgia Stathis for the Bulldogs. She had 26 disposals playing in the back half. Despite the team being bad, she was very good. Eliza McNamara on the wing, as always, 31 disposals, supporting a black eye, as you can see still in that photo, because that photo was from the weekend. Yeah, she had a great game for the Demons. Someone I just realised I didn't have Tyler Hanks. Oh, no, I do have Tyler Hanks. I'll detail why she's in the team shortly. Elise Parker had 30 disposals, was good for the Giants. Baldors, and they had another game against the Saints early in the round, and she was fine then. Baldors got the best on ground in the Q Clash. 27 disposals, was very, very good. 21 contested possessions, Baldors. She's an absolute ripper and a star player. Emily Bates kicked 2 goals at 21 disposals. That's why Anya Madonna was best on ground for the Hawks, I feel, with 3 goals and like 16, 18 disposals. Was a lock. Aisling Maloney for the Cats. She's killing it at the moment. She's a genuine contender for the All-Australian team coming at the end of the season and the Coleman race. Very good kick. 2 goals for like 18 disposals. It was very good. Gilroy kicked 3 and had 14 odd disposals for the Hawks. It's a nice goal after the siren, about 45 out. Against the wind. No, sorry, with the wind. Jessie Wardlaw for the Saints was very good, kicking 3 goals and like 14 disposals. Poppy Kelly just detailed, same with Marinoff and Nansquan. Tyler Hanks, I was going to say was probably best on ground, and I still maybe think she was best on ground in the Saints game. Very influential in the midfield. With Liv Purcell back, she was fantastic. Also, Lachlan kicked 3 and 15. If she's not in the All-Australian team at the end of the year, I cannot believe what anyone is saying. Jess Garner kicked 3 goals at 25 odd disposals, was a lock. Jenna Richardson, any week, would be in the starting team. She was awesome, like 16 disposals, like 11 intercept possessions. They just kept kicking it to her, but her intercept work was fantastic on the weekend. Ellie Anderson for the Lions had 31 disposals. And Monconti, Sophia Hurley like 15 tackles. Monconti had 28 disposals and a nice goal. Astrodell had 31. Hatchard had like 28 in one of the games and 23 odd in the other. BT had like 11 intercept possessions, so that's how stiff the backline spots were this week. As I said, Schultz was the next ruck. Maddie Gurin, I was generally considering for the next and last spot on the interchange bench with Ali Anderson, but I went with Ali Just. And Sophia Hurley was also in that contention as well. Danielle Ponta was good up forward for the Crows in their big win over the Giants, not so much in the loss over the Demons. So that's my team of the week. Let me know down below what you think of my team of the week. I think it's a very bloody stacked side and all deserved a spot in my team of the week. Alrighty, so let's now go review the round 7 games and then preview the round 8 games to wrap us up. So, like I said with the ladder, who do I think makes it? I think the top 8, I think Essendon can still fall out. Like, I feel like they'll lose to Richmond coming up. I feel like Essendon can lose some of their other games coming up as well. So, the Carlton game, they should win that, which will actually probably get them in there because of their percentage. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Oh, it's really hard. Freo got West Coast. If they lose to West Coast, they can still fall out. Port Adelaide got a favourable draw outside of St Kilda. St Kilda, they've got Port Adelaide, Brisbane, and Bulldogs. So Saints could win 2 of those 3 and would secure a spot in the finals if they were to do that with their solid percentage. So it's really hard. Port Adelaide and St Kilda on Friday night in Adelaide is going to be a critical game for the top 8 spot, which would mean with one of them winning, that West Coast and Melbourne must win. Otherwise, their season is probably shot. And then winner the Saints and Port potentially place finals with their reasonable draw, especially the Power. If they win, they got a reasonable 2 games after that. But yeah, let's review the round 7 games, shall we? So I say the top 8 stays as is, to be honest. I'll have to wait and see. All right, 49-15. The Saints, Tuesday night in Frankston. The Saints are awesome. Jesse Waller kicked 3. Serene Watto-Watson was awesome. One of the best on ground again. T. Smith kicked a nice goal. Goal of the year contender. Surely that's a contender because Harley Reid won it like that. So why can't T. Smith win it like that? But overall, great win for the Saints and really happy to see the big win there. For the Giants, Gemma Ramsdale was a late inclusion and played her first game and then played on Sunday yesterday against the Crows. One on Gemma Ramsdale. She done really well, I feel, in her first game as a Giants and in the AFLW competition. The former Dandenong Stingray player. Now, the next game to go through is Adelaide 14, Melbourne 16. Low scoring, but tough, contested game. Melbourne will be so happy they were able to hold on. Georgia Gall, I thought, was really good in this game for the Demons. They played really well. I thought Tyler Hanks, again, was very good. McNamara, Georgia Campbell in the ruck for this game was really good. Sinead Goldrick played a role as well. Maddie Newman kicked a nice goal, but it wasn't to be for the Crows, who'll be very disappointed, losing at home to the Demons, who aren't in the greatest of form. The next game to go through is, let's just double check. I'm right. Yep. Port Adelaide 33, Collingwood 25. So Collingwood were in this game, and it wasn't great for them that, that's how it happened. But, it is what it is. So they can't make finals anyway. But for the Power, though, it's very, very impressive how they got the job done, isn't it? And they keep their finals chances alive. A big game, as I said, against the Saints on Friday night at Alberton Oval in Adelaide. So their hometown, the Crows. But, Matilda Schultz, a Mark of the Year contender. Gemma Houghton, the goal of the year contender. But yeah, so great win for the Power. Schultz will be contender for Mark of the Year. I thought Michaela Cann was good for the Pies, along with Lucy Cronin as well. For the Power, I thought Piper Window played a role. Molly Brooksby again, Abby Dowry, and Schultz up in the ruck was Matilda Schultz. The next game to go through was... Oh, yeah, by the way, Sabrina Frederick, she looks injured. Holding her arm, one hand. I think the commentary were alluding to that. I feel like Collingwood, if she's going to have surgery, the Moles will let her go have it now and get ready for the next season, as the Pies, unfortunately for them, can't make finals. Western Bulldogs 3, Essendon 26. As stupid as this may sound, the Bulldogs were actually in this game, because it was relatively close for almost all the game, especially late in the third. It was still a genuine chance. Westo had a chance to score a goal from close range at the start of the third quarter to put them down by a couple of points, and she unfortunately missed. And then after that, that's where the Bombers took real control, I feel. They probably took control in the first half, but the Bulldogs were leveling it up with them. I think it was like 7 points at halftime, so they were still in it. But yeah, late in the third, the whole of the last, the Bombers took control, and, you know, it is what it is for them, and they keep their finals hopes well and truly alive. The Bombers and the Bulldogs season is officially over for them, unfortunately. As I said, Elizabeth Georgia-Stathis was good for the Bulldogs. And then for the Bombers, Nansquan, Radford, Clark, Heaney, were all very good. Amy Gaylor as well. But yeah, it is what it is for the Bulldogs, unfortunately. The next game to go through will be none other than the game I attended in Frankston, 74 Hawthorn, West Coast 8. You know, very, very disappointing for the Eagles. You know, they had the wind in the first quarter, and it was like 7-6 in favour of Hawthorn at quarter time. So it was an even contest, but the wind was a 3-goal breeze, and West Coast could not take advantage of it. And then, in the second quarter, okay, the Eagles did not register one inside 50 at all, which is real bad. They got one on the halftime sirens. They had a 50-metre penalty, and they had a shot from about 65 metres out, and obviously then it went into the 50. So that's technically an inside 50. So they had one inside 50 in the second quarter. Then in the last quarter, they had like 2 or 3 inside 50s. So they had 3 to 4 inside 50s for half a game, and that's just not good enough. Daisy Pearce will be really annoyed. The midfield got beaten real bad, and if they did get the ball, it went straight to Hawthorn players. Jenna Richardson was loose down back all game and was just doing really well. Charlie Thomas was a rock down back, as she always is, all-Australian lock as well as Charlie Thomas. Ella Roberts, again, played really well with 17 disposals. Charlie had 26 as a key defender. But the other names that are normally doing very well, like Ali Drennan and Isabel Lewis, you know, some experienced players in that midfield, along with Ella, and Emma Swanson pushes through the back line as well. So, yeah, very disappointing, I feel, for them. Jamie Harkin's another one, an experienced midfielder, albeit new to the AFLW competition. They just got beaten up in the midfield, I feel. And the Hawks, when they went inside 50, they were just scoring and scoring. And the amount of inside 50s that Charlie Thomas and co had to go through was just too much. So it was up the ground, and they needed to do the work. Kelly Gibson, I thought, held her own down forward when it was actually there. You'll see the goal in my matchday vlog. And if you haven't checked out any of those vlogs, Saints game, the Eagles game, Saints, Eagles, or Geelong Richmond game, please go and check them out. I would greatly appreciate it. But yeah, Daisy Pearce would not be happy with that effort at all. 3 or 4 inside 50s and a half on one end of the ground is just unacceptable. I don't care if it's against the wind or not. Like, it was just bad. It was in Hawthorn's 50 the entire half, essentially, like 99% of the half, but both those quarters against the wind. And when they had the wind, Hawthorn were levelling the scores with them, if not beating them. So Hawthorn overall were just very, very good. Eliza West, Gilroy, Onion Madonna, Wales in the ruck was okay. I think West Coast need to go back to having one of Sarah Lackey or Tess Lyons in the ruck. I feel like that's where they got beaten badly as well, and maybe that contributed to the midfield as well. But yeah, Sarah Lackey and Tess Lyons both were dropped, who they've been using as their 2 rucks this year. So they dropped both of them at the same time. So they had Cleaver and Wackfer in the ruck, and I think they need to fix that up. Maybe put Sarah Lackey back in the team to be the ruck. I mean, yeah, I feel like the Eagles probably need to bring in an experienced ruckman next season, because that's probably what's hurting them. At the moment, they've had a great season so far. They've had a few bad slip-ups against Brisbane in Perth, and then this one against the Hawks in Frankston. The Hawks were very, very good and will be playing finals. The next game is Geelong and Richmond, 46-39 in favour of Richmond. Geelong season maybe shot after this. Last quarter, which I got there at the end of the game, so the start of last quarter, and it was a great quarter to see. It was like 4, 5, 6 goals in that quarter. Jack Parry, Elise Sheeran. There were so many good goals in that game. Emily Yassia got the winning goal at the end from the boundary. So it was a great contest. Michaela Bowen had a chance. Darcy Maloney, Aisling Maloney had chances as well for Geelong. It's a really good game. Talk about some interesting umpiring calls. There was a fair few in this game as well. And I know some Geelong fans in that last quarter there alone were getting very angry about the umpiring and saying that all Geelong fans blame the umpires when they're losing, I guess. But here we are. But overall, it was a really good game. And the last quarter was absolutely phenomenal to see live. Brisbane 44, Gold Coast 28. Brisbane by 16 points in the Q Clash. Gold Coast done really well. Taya Oliver did really well, kicking 2 goals. Her first 2 goals in AFLW, so well on her. But, yeah, it's just, really disappointing for them, I feel. Like, yeah, it was just... They did really well. Taya Bahana kicked 2 as well. The skipper, who's having a good season. Jack Toupay did all right. Daisy Darcy, done really well. Charlie Rowbottom played her part as well, but I feel like she's slowly dropping off a little bit in form. But she's obviously better than that. But yeah, overall, they did really well. Lucy Single played a role as well, playing as an inside mid. But yeah, the team, they were okay. They were in a chance late, but Dakota Davison had other ideas. And Beldors, she's terrific and a genuine contender for All-Australian this year. Sophie Conway's having a really good season. Evie Long as well, a draftee in the last few weeks last 4 weeks has done really well. And Talia Hickey in the ruck played a role, and Ali Anderson obviously with 31 disposals. The next game to go through is Freo and Carlton. Freo choked a 2-goal lead, 30-34. The Blues got it done. Keely Shear, I've been saying this for a while, has been Carlton's best player this year. She'll win their best and fairest. If she doesn't, it is rigged. She kicked the winning goal. She's a lifelong Carlton fan, and I'm sure that was a great moment for her. And a great win for the Blues. Lila Keck kicked her first goal in AFLW, and she loves this goal celebration, and she did the double cobra, and I was waiting for that. Been waiting a while, but it's happened now. Meg Robinson, in her 4th game of AFLW, done really well. She had a really consistent 4 games throughout her 4 games, in particular the games at Icon Park. Been fantastic. Meg Robinson should get the Rising Star nomination for this round, as I said earlier. But yeah, Carlton, great win in the end. Freo, disappointing. Emma O'Driscoll tried her part there in the game. Mim Strom in the ruck, probably the Australian ruck this year. Laura Pugh and Gabby Newton played their role, but overall Carlton were really good, led by Abby McKay, Kelly Skepper, and Kelly Shear as well. Next game are the Sunday games. Sunday, 87-27, Kangaroos over North Melbourne over Sydney. Swans, what the hell was that? Within 14 points at half time and then blow it just like that. Not good enough, really, from Sydney. I mean, they're a bloody good side. They got Montana Handbacker who had a good game. Brenda Tarrant played a role. Sophia Hurley was best on ground for the Swans. Pagana kicking 3 and 25. Riddell having 31 again. Alice O'Loughlin kicking 3 and 15. Neve Martin popping up for a couple of goals again. Having a consistent season is Neve Martin after coming back in the team about 4 rounds ago. So, yeah, overall, the Roos are really good. Charlo Randall and Kate Sheilor have moments in games where they're doing very well, but it shows the depth of their squad. That even when they're not both dominating, and Sheilor hasn't played every game this year too. So that would just give a lot of confidence for Darren Crocker and the Roos girls that, they're one step closer to a grand final yet again. Sunday at Moorabbin, St Kilda 30, Melbourne 44. Well, Watto was great in her 50th game, and it was really disappointing that Saints couldn't get the win for her. We never win milestone games, so it's always a jinx. So hopefully in the future, no one has a milestone game anymore because we seem to lose them all the time, almost 99% of the time, and I'm not even kidding. Go look up the stat and you'll know that. But yeah, Watto was really good. I thought Paige Trudgeon played her part as well, playing as a key defender like Watto. But yeah, I can't say much for the mids this week, and the rucks for that matter. It's just Tyler Hanks was awesome, like 28 disposals. She was fantastic. Probably best on ground for me. Liv Purcell back from facial injury, wearing the mask, the protective mask because of the nose injury, facial injury she had. She played really well. Kate Hall was back to her usual best, 27 disposals. Eliza McNamara on the wing at 31. So their midfield just dominated ours. Like Lambert was playing forward at times. Liv Vesely just came back. But the midfield, T. Smith, the midfield got destroyed, I feel. And that's where it was won. Georgia Campbell played a part. Georgia Gould played a part. Alyssa Bannon. So their taller forwards as well were a trouble. Some of the other singular defenders like Priest and Jacobson and Trudgeon. Watto was fantastic overall. Trudgeon was fine. But Zanka popped up for a few goals. It was a key presence up forward. Paxman coming back in the side with Purcell. They all played their part, and I knew this would happen. Melbourne were getting their players back. They were starting to rise up, and then they got the three main players back, or three of their main players back, and it just clicked for them, and I knew that would happen. Unfortunately, we couldn't get it done. We didn't deserve the win at all. The umpiring was dodgy, as it always is, but Melbourne deserved the win in this game. The last game, the Giants and Crows, smashing 92 Adelaide, GWS 28. Elise Parker, 30 disposals, was dominant, but Marinoff, 41 odd disposals, 17 clearances, 11 tackles, or the other way around, or 14 maybe, clearance-wise. Had like 30-something in the other game. Marinoff, genuine contender for the Brownlow medal, the MVP, end of the season. Scoops medal, well, you'll have to wait and find out after the completion of the home away season. Sally Goldsworthy played a part. I want to wish Caitlin Suhoy all the best who I've had on the podcast before. What looked like a serious knee injury. Cam, the coach, said after the game they don't expect it to be an ACL. The doctors tell them, and maybe more of a PCL or MCL or something like that, which hopefully is down the lower end of weeks. Hopefully it's nothing, but hopefully it's nothing completely serious. I wish Caitlin all the best. She's had a great year and is still a genuine contender for the Rising Star come the end of the year with Goody and Cronin. So, yeah. So that's previewing round 7. See, I keep forgetting to put the banners up today. Let's preview round 8. All right, so let's preview round 8, shall we, as I said. So just one game each for everyone this round. Starts off Thursday night at Icon Park. Is Carlton hosting the Western Bulldogs? If Carlton can somehow win this, there's somehow a mathematical chance, but they won't make it. But I'm going to tip the Western Bulldogs in this one by 5 points. I'm also predicting Annalee McKee will come back in the team this week for the Bulldogs. Needs more scoring power up forward. And Ali Gavalas should come back in the team as well. Friday night, the big game at Alberton Oval, 7:45 Victorian time. It's Port Adelaide hosting my Saints. I'll be tipping the Saints in this one to bounce back and win by 2 points. Saturday at Frankston at 1:05 Victorian time. It's Hawthorn hosting GWS. I'll be tipping the Hawks in this one by 35 points. Again, Saturday, 3:05 at Henson Park in Sydney. It's Sydney hosting the Gold Coast Suns. I'll be tipping Sydney this one by 26 points. Make that 25 points. 5:05 p.m. on Saturday at Casey Fields. It's Melbourne hosting Richmond. I'm actually going to tip Melbourne in this one by 1 point. Richmond could win this, and I think they would normally win this. But I'm afraid that Melbourne are coming back with these players. And Richmond, to be fair, have been in a lot of close games, and this will be another close game. I'm tipping Melbourne by 5 points. It's going to be a close one. Saturday night in Perth, it's West Coast hosting Freo in the Derby. Sullivan Logistics Stadium, 7:05 Victorian time. I'll be tipping the Eagles in this one by 5 points to bounce back and give their arch rivals, the Dockers, the old heave-ho. Sunday games. Let's go through them right now. On Sunday, 1:05 p.m. on Sunday at GMHBA Stadium. It's Geelong hosting Brisbane. Geelong have to win all 3. It's plain and simple. But I think the Giants, the Lions are going to eliminate the Cats and end their season. They've probably been one of the best sides outside of the 8. Their percentage shows that. They've been unlucky in a few games. But here we are. So I'm going Brisbane by 26 points. Actually, no, you know what? No, 16 points. The Brisbane Lions. 3:05 at Windy Hill. It's Essendon hosting North Melbourne, Victorian time. I'm going to tip the Roos by 12 points. Made that 14 points, sorry. And the last game at Icon Park, Vic Park, 5:05 p.m. Victorian time. It is Collingwood hosting Adelaide. I'll be tipping the Crows in this one by 20 points. Now, my final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish somebody a birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players, and you'd like to see them on my podcast in a goal kicking challenge and or interview, please do send me a message, and we'll try and get something sorted. Thank you all. Until the next video, take care. The most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints. And, of course, acknowledge me, the one. And again, congratulations to Watto on Game 50. Go Saints.